because this side now that I'm moving in, we have the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 final group draw. Remember, the AFCON 2025 will be hosted in Morocco come December. For the first time, we're witnessing this event being hosted in December. But first, let's look at what we are expecting come December, because we have the group matches. So let's look at the Group A. Group A iko na kina nani? In Group A, we have Morocco, who are the hosting team. Apart from Morocco, we're also having Mali. We're also having Zambia, Zambia, who are the 2012 champions, and Comoros. Comoros in these groups look like the underdogs. But we're also having Mali, Zambia, and Morocco. Morocco having been so lucky when it comes to this tournament. So it's among the groups that it's one of the groups that I will be watching. Let's check Group B. Group B, what do we have in the Group B? Tuko na Group B ndo hiyo hapo thank you so much Kevo. Director Kevo. The likes of Mo Salah will be playing in Group B. That is Egypt. They will face South Africa, Angola, and then Zimbabweans hapo chini. Ndio hapo they'll be in Group B. Egypt, the likes of Mo Salah, South Africa, and Angola and Zimbabwe. Hiyo ni Group B. Kwa hivyo it's a tournament that we are expecting ianze in December. Na hiyo ndo Group B. Mo Salah ndio hapa tumemuona. Tuangalie Group C, kuna nini? Group C. Ndio Group C imekuja. Thank you so much. Vitu live hizi. Group C, we're having Nigeria, the Swagger Boys. Hawa wanatokeanga tu kila tournament wakiwa dancing hapa na pale. Tunisia haven't been so lucky, but itakuwa labda season yao. And then the East Africa finest, Uganda, Tanzania. Kenya, we're not the East Africa finest this time. But we have to ask a lot of questions. Why is Tanzania here and Uganda here? Why not Kenya here? Maswali mingi tunafaa tujiulize. That is Group C, Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania wa ule mama tanisonge tuniangalia kwingine. Group D. Group D, Group B will be having Senegal, 2020 champions. They'll face DRC Congo, or rather they'll face DR Congo, Benin, and Botswana. Some of the teams hapo inakaa group hii inakaa tricky, yote anaweza penya. Botswana, Benin, Benin Republic, DR Congo, and Senegal. Ndo the group stages, or rather that is the final group draw of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Hiyo that will be taking place in kuja kombe la mataifa. Draw ya kombe la mataifa. Tumeswitch kidogo tukaingia kizungu. Tuangalie Group E, tuingia Kiswahili. Tuangalie Group E, kuna Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea na Botswana. Hiyo ni Group E, draw ya kombe la mataifa barani Afrika. Hiyo ndio AFCON kwa kilugha ya Kiswahili tunaita hivyo. Algeria, Burkina Faso, and Botswana ziko hapo. We have Group F, kundi F, kundi F. Kundi F, we have Cote d'Ivoire. They surprised a lot of people last tournament by losing the first two matches and not winning the first two matches, and then qualifying in terms of the best, or qualifying as the best losers. Now Cote d'Ivoire will play against Cameroon. This is an West Africa affair. We have Gabon, and also we have Mozambique. Mozambique among the rather tunasema they are the underdogs, among the underdogs in this tournament that will be played in December. Lakini hii tournament ya wana underdogs kweli. Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, and Gabon. Mozambique. Kumbuka, we're also having the question of the day. We have the question of the day. So interact with us here, TV47. Interact with us here at the Sports Extravaganza. Tell us, nani alikuinspire? Who influenced you to support your team? Who influenced you to support your football? To support your football team? Nani alikuambia hii Man U ndio imeweza? Nani alikuambia Chelsea ndio imeweza? Wewe nani alikuambia Liverpool inaweza, Real Madrid? Ama labda FC Leopard, Gor Mahia, Mathare United. Who influenced you to support your team? Mimi ukiniambia, I remember back in the days I remember back in the days when I was supporting, when I was watching football, or rather I was playing football, I used to hear the likes of David Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, Cristiano Ronaldo, Van der Sar, and nikaamua hii ndio team, hii ndio Man United. Pia I know someone who mwenye alikuwa anasikia the likes of Didier Drogba, Michael Ballack, na wakaamua hii ndio team. Call us live, number ya WhatsApp ndio hiyo hapo, text us on our WhatsApp number and interact with us. Kuna lingine? Tuendelee. Kuna mengi hapa tutakuwa naangalia, but before tuendelee tutakuwa the question of the day ikiendelea hapo, you can even SMS at 22047. WhatsApp number iko hapo. We are going to cross live to Uganda. Tuingie Uganda, kuna nini? There's a Uganda journalist lined up atuambie kuhusu draw. Hello. Shughuli nzima tumeweza kuiona, or we have seen the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations draw that will be hosted in Cameroon. What do you have to say? Because we have Tanzania, we have Uganda in the same group.
Well, yes, good afternoon. I'm Do, and thank you for having me.
Okay, let's
well, I must say that the draw for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations was one that was well organized. It was the first time for myself attending an event of that magnitude. The first and last one I ever attended was the draw for the CHAN finals in 2015. That tournament was hosted in Rwanda in 2016. But you thought that Morocco, first of all, used the occasion or used the opportunity to showcase or to give us a glimpse of what we should expect when the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations comes around later in the year. They used the event to probably reveal to us a thing or two of what we should be expect when the Africa Cup of Nations comes around, from the organization, the hotels that some of us were residing, the transport from the hotels to the venue for the draw, the kind of treatment, especially from my side as a journalist. You thought that they did their level best to make sure that they facilitated us rather in whichever way they were supposed to facilitate us, to make sure that they give us an opportunity to do our job with the comfort that we are supposed to do our job. So for me, the whole event was well organized. First of all, it was well attended. You thought that they invited the people that were supposed to be invited and be part of the event in terms of the organization. The Muhammad V National Theatre, a very magnificent place. The decoration and all that, the lighting, the event itself, the choices of people they chose to be draw assistants as the draw was going on. You thought that everything was well planned, everything was well thought after before the event eventually did come to life.
And Cliff, which group do you think is the group of death?
Well, truth be told, personally, I've been struggling to pick out one group and you say that this is the group of death. Yes, you have groups where you have countries like Egypt, countries like South Africa, that should be probably Group B. You have a Group F where you have Cameroon and Ivory Coast, the defending champions. But when you look at all the groups, you have a feeling that all groups are well balanced. Now you have groups that have two superpowers per se, then other teams that you probably want to put in the middle class and stuff like that. So for me, I feel that the groups were well balanced, the teams were well distributed after the draw, and it should be an exciting event. So of course, African football, when you look at the last two editions of the Africa Cup of Nations, or ever since the Africa Cup of Nations was expanded to 24 teams, you feel that the underdog tag is there. just for the sake, but the underdogs come and they actually shock the big boys. We saw at the last Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast how teams were being shocked by the so-called underdogs. So you want to feel that it will be the case, it will be the same case again when the tournament comes around in Morocco, because the teams have been well spread, the superpowers or the big dogs, and those teams that very many people probably don't think that will be going far in the competition.
Interesting clip they are saying, you know, hakuna underdog in this group. Let's Cliff, if you got, what do you think of this group? Because there's this group that we have in Uganda, the East Africans. There's Uganda, there's Tanzania, and they are in the same group, because many Kenyans were asking, why is Kenya not there? You're talking about us Africa Cup of Nations draw. Remember, this tournament will be played. It was supposed to be played in played in January, and then now it's December. What do you think of this group of Uganda and Tanzania being in the same group?
Well, the Ugandan group, you want to think it is an exciting one, of course, without a doubt, being tipped against Tanzania. These are East African rivals. It will be an East African derby in Rabat, but in the same group, you have Tunisia in there. The last won the competition in 2004 when they hosted it. Then you also have three-time African champions, Nigeria, who were losing finalists at the last edition in Ivory Coast. You look at the group, and probably everyone is looking at Tanzania, and they think that everyone should be getting 3 points of Tanzania. But also Tanzania is probably looking at Uganda, and they're like, we have to pick our 3 points off Uganda and probably negotiate a draw or 2 draws against Nigeria and Tunisia. But then you're looking at Tunisia and Nigeria, and they're looking at Uganda and Tanzania, and they are looking at a comfortable 6 points for each of them before they get to sort themselves out. So for me, I feel it's going to be an interesting group, just like all the other groups. But of course, the target is how Uganda gets to negotiate that group and qualify going into the round of 16. You want to feel that many people would probably want to feel that Nigeria and Tunisia are going to take the top 2 spots. So the question is, if Uganda or Tanzania, you're to qualify out of this group, you have to qualify as one of the 4 third best placed teams. Of course, you can always qualify through that window, but everyone would want to qualify as one of the 2 teams that get to qualify automatically. That is why the Uganda Cranes will be eyeing. That is what the Taifa Stars of Tanzania will be eyeing. But at the end of the day, you feel that probably just like all the other groups, the group that also involves Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, and Tunisia might, in a way, have a little bit of a shocks here and there. When you look at all the 4 teams in that group, Uganda collected the most number of points. So we collected a total of 13 points, much as we finished the second in our group as we tried to qualify. 7 of those points were picked on the road, while the other 6 were picked at home. No team in that group picked more than that. So we'll probably also go with that detail or statistic into the competition, and maybe we can build on that as we try to automatically qualify out of that group.
Asante sana. Cliff Kianze from Uganda. He's a Ugandan journalist. They are talking or giving us an in-depth analysis, in-depth information about Africa Cup of Nations, 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Usiondoke, because we are going to come back with a lot. We are going to talk matters football. Remember, English Premier League matches will be, English Premier League fixture zitakuwa zinaanza in a few minutes. Here in Kenya, FKF Premier League matches have already been played. I'll be giving you the results. Nani amepigwa. We'll also be crossing over to Bundesliga in Germany. Kwa hivyo usiondoke, because we have well-informed sports commentators, well-informed football commentators, the likes of Benjamin Kelong, the likes of Fortune Esikumo, and also we have Wesley Kibet in the house. Kevin Hamiani, he is also in the house. They'll be giving us in-depth information and deep in-depth analysis